Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the No Balls Cricket podcast. 13 is supposed to be an unlucky number, and look who we have back on. Our 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 our, our infamous pitch consultant who led us astray for the India England series.
He's back. Now imagine how wrong he got that. He said it was going to be English look and then, deteriorate after 3 days, which to be fair, it did. Didn't look anything like an English pitch though. And also we lost that test match and then he vanished for like a good 2.5, 3 months.
It looked English for an hour, and that's about it. Since the rest is history.
It did not look English for 5 minutes. I don't know what fucking test match you were watching. It did not look English. Not even for 5 minutes.
Well, we ended the series on a good note. It was
Yeah.
I think towards the end, at least for what we had predicted, it was not at least exactly what we had thought or whitewash.
I think
Yeah.
you were the only one who actually predicted England winning a test. Actually, if I
Yeah,
remember
that's
correctly,
true.
you predicted either 2-1 or 3-1 to India, which is what
I was
happened.
to be
And
honest towards.
yeah. And to give you props, you were the only one who also expected anything to come from Akshar Patel. Both of us were like, don't play Akshar Patel. Please play Kuldeep Yadav the entire series.
Having said that, he also expected stuff to come from Shahbaz Nadeem, and we all know how that worked out. So I'm not going by anything.
Yeah.
I think his credibility was finished in that first episode only.
Take two now.
Take two. Alrighty. We are of course on because today is IPL preview day, so we have lots to go on. The IPL of course begins on Friday. Um, so, but first, as we have usually done on this podcast, we begin with the roundup.
The
Take it away.
roundup. Most importantly, hopefully you guys have watched. Just to start off with, you guys have watched episode 12 of our podcast because that is our Rob Moody episode, which we had loads of fun recording, and thankfully so did Rob. So we're all in the clear there. Yeah, it was hilarious. We learned some very funny details about people like Alan Border and the rest of the Australian commentary cricket crew. We have, if you, in case you haven't seen this, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but we also have a very tasty alternative career choice for Ravi Shastri. So please check out episode 12. Yeah, moving on. So speaking of Australia, it's a big milestone in the women's cricket. The firstly, Elise Perry set the record set a new record for most cap T20I player, and then the bigger one was Meg Lanning's ODI side broke Ricky Ponting's side's record for most consecutive ODI wins with 22 after sweeping their one-day series with New Zealand. It's a big achievement. Also, anyone who gets Ricky Ponting off the record books or tops them is a legendary person in my books.
So basically, he waited 5 minutes, gave that whole spiel, and then decided to take a pot shot at Ricky Ponting, which he didn't do on the Rob Moody episode. He was very good that day. He's not been good today.
I had to be. He's from Australia. I had to be somewhat nice to him about Australia.
Yeah, then you went and compared him to David Spade. So let's not go there.
Hang on, that's Ian. That's not me. That's Ian.
No
That's
one
not
wants
me.
our boffins. Let's just call them that.
Ian. Yeah.
Okay.
Our doppelganger boffins.
Doppelganger boffins. Moving on. There is also an ODI series on between South Africa and Pakistan. South Africa squeaked home in the second game. Pakistan squeaked home in the first game. But the second game is what we're going to talk about because we were really interested in two things. One, Fakhar Zaman playing probably the craziest inning that you will ever see in. I mean, it was completely hopeless. They were never going to win that game. They were way too far behind. But after all of that, the anticlimax of his dismissal.
And anticlimax, but like the controversy of it also is.
Yeah, a bit controversial, obviously. So apparently, the claim from everybody is, and a few voices on Twitter is that Fakhar Zaman was distracted by Quinton de Kock telling the bowler to go and stand at the bowler's end to collect the throw. So Zaman gets confused, takes his eye off of it, looks at the bowler's end, and then the throw comes to the batter's end and he gets run out because it's a direct hit. So that was what ended up happening. Of course, if you haven't seen it, please do go watch that clip. I will not put a link in the description below because I'll just get abuse on Twitter. But that's what happened. That series is locked at 1-1. Now, the thing with South Africa is that most of their stars are leaving to enter the IPL bubbles. So they will probably feature a slightly weakened, or let's not say weakened, but let's say new look side.
Yeah, and not just the big talk is about the pace attack there because Rabada and Ngidi and Naughty are all out, but also Quinton de Kock and David Miller, which leaves them a little light in terms of big hitters in the batting. So it should be interesting to see. Of course, that also brings up the whole debate about IPL versus international cricket. I think if we start that now, that might be edition, I don't know, 2,300,050 seconds, 51 of this debate. So let's not.
Also, boss, no one cares about one random ODI against Pakistan. Yeah, it's okay. Bottom line is that. Right. Moving on to the wait, do we have anything else for the roundup?
I don't think since the last time we recorded was really only 3 days ago. I don't think much has happened apart from this one series.
That's also very true. All right. So first of all, welcome back, Niket.
Definitely good to be back.
And second of all,
Let's see how long that does that last. A couple of pitch predictions and then probably vanish again.
I was going to say, key question is, do you have inside info on the IPL pitches, and most importantly, can we trust that inside info?
At least today it's hard to trust any info that comes by. So let's get any info we can, and then we see what happens.
Achha, so basically, he's saying that he has inside info, but he doesn't want to tell us.
He doesn't want to risk his already floundering reputation on this.
Floundering? It's been shattered.
Career just started.
All right. So first things first with the IPL, let's go on to talking about the rule changes. And we'll move from there. Obviously, they've removed the soft signal. There's been a restriction on the amount of time that you're allowed to bowl your 20 overs in. So you have to finish in 90 minutes regardless of whatever. It doesn't matter. That is...
so you can't do the whole... What normally happened was the previous rule was you had to start the 20th over by the time 90 minutes were up. And then, of course, everyone would take, God's sweet time to finish the last over. That you can't do anymore.
Exactly. And I'm missing one.
What's the penalty like?
So the penalty is obviously just a fine initially, and then of course your captain gets suspended. So
there's also the short run rule, which is going to be looked at now exclusively by third umpires. So that because I think there were a few cases last year where a short run was either not called when it should have been or incorrectly called.
And yeah, so those are the three major rule changes. Otherwise, everything else is in line with international standards. Now we shall go in depth and, well, not in depth, but we shall go and look at all the teams. First of all, we're starting with CSK, and I only have one word for them. Nope. What do you guys reckon? Overseas players: Moeen Ali, Curran, Bravo, Faf du Plessis, Imran Tahir, Ngidi, Mitchell Santner. Hazelwood was supposed to be there, but then he decided that he doesn't want to bowl at Pujara in the nets.
And then two more decided not to turn up.
So yeah,
I think Moeen Ali is going to open, and I think he's going to be a very good batsman in this format. Whether he's a good spinner on these at the Wankhede and at Chinnaswamy, highly doubtful.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're obviously not playing all their games they're not playing any games in Chennai, which is a big thing. And Dhoni's style of captaincy will not work on these flatter conditions, especially with a batting lineup that looks like they have now gone from dad's army to granddad's army, and now they're at great granddad's army.
With a few grandchildren.
With a few grandchildren and a giant mosquito.
SP's favorite cricketer, Sam Curran.
Yeah, Sam Curran. But we're not going to spend too much time on them. Devrat, what do you think their chances, as I think they are not reaching the playoffs?
I also don't think they're reaching the playoffs, though I think it is always foolish to discount Dhoni doing something, but also we all know he's towards the end of his career. He can't pull off miracles all the time, and we saw their batting was way too slow last year, and their bowling didn't really back it up. I don't think they've done enough to fix that. Moeen Ali is a good addition. Gaikwad should be a good. If they'd open together, that could be a really good opening pair. But I just don't see it. I just don't see them really, making up the deficiencies they had last year.
I mean, look, they have some very random picks. First bringing Uttapa to CSK, and then, I mean, why on earth you would want Cheteshwar Pujara to play T20 cricket? I don't understand. Having said that, we know he's got a T20 100 for Saurashtra of all random things. But I mean, the bowling is weak, other than maybe Jadeja and Shardul Thakur. Yeah, it's really it. There's really not much in the squad at all. I think most of the players are well past it, and I expect them to finish up 8th.
So that's a harsh one. I think it's a very redemption team. I think the entire team is out there to prove a point. Everyone has been left out. Everyone has been Everyone has struggled. So I think CSK definitely comes down to the top order for me. I mean, if they can sort their top order worries, they have people to make it work somewhere in the middle. Sam Curran, I think, is going to be used definitely as a trump over there. It'll be interesting to see the quickies perform. So I mean, if they have anyone, see Shardul, Deepak, who would you pick as their 3 core quickies? I think the Shardul, Deepak, and Ngidi.
Ngidi has to play for me, and Sam Curran has to play for me. So
yeah,
I think
so
that's
thinking that the openers will where they'll all come down to the top 3. And if Raina is back in touch, if that happens, I would not discount them deep down. But I think somewhere if they qualify, they do a 4 or a 5 for me. I mean, if they take a shot at it.
That is your opinion. I've already discounted them. Now it's only left to Devdutt to decide who.
No, I agreed. I think they're the most likely team to finish last.
Yeah, I agree entirely.
Unless they surprise us.
Let's just and we'll go on record and say that in our fantasy game, not very many players from CSK had been picked. Only Adam and his love for Faf du Plessis.
And I did pick Jadeja in my team.
Okay. So then you're the other idiot.
I think Sam Curran is coming in for me.
Oh, Sam Curran for you. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, I mean, Curran, I think, would be the only other one who'd make any impact.
Yeah.
Anyway, swiftly moving on, because there's no time to waste on this episode. We go to last year's runners-up, the Delhi Capitals. Interesting changes, first of all. Obviously, Rishabh Pant being captain and not having Shreyas Iyer around is going to make it very, very interesting. But you look at that squad and there's quality, I mean, mostly throughout. A few interesting additions. I mean, Umesh Yadav coming back in is not going to make any difference because he's just all over the place in T20 cricket. That's the only one I think that is completely wasted. But other than that, Sam Billings, Tom Curran, I've made my opinions very clear on. Billings, Curran, Vokes, Rabada, Nokia, Steve Smith, Stoinis, and Shimron Hetmeyer are their international players. Who out of those 4 do you think will play?
First 2 games we have either of the quickies are not available for the first game at least. So at least we have Smith coming in for sure. I think a lot relies on Smith over here. Apart from Smith, again in terms of the Stoinis is their Hulk. So they definitely need to. Stoinis is probably going to play throughout the season.
He has to make his grandpa proud.
We have Stoinis, we have Smith, and again, if both the quickies get in, then of course Enrique and Kagiso. That's ideally the 4.
Yeah, Nokia, Kagiso, Rabada, Smith, and Stoinis would be my ideal 4. I think it's harsh on Hetmeyer and Sam Billings.
Yeah.
I would in fact pick either one of them over Smith in a full strength lineup just because obviously Steve Smith is a great batsman, but T20s, not so much. We saw how he struggled with Rajasthan, and I think the explosiveness that players like Hetmeyer or Billings offer worth more than what Steve Smith can do. Plus, most likely because of the Indian player quota, you're going to get Rahane in the team. You can't have Rahane and Smith in the same T20 11.
Yeah, that's a fair call. Obviously, Akshar Patel has COVID at the moment, so I don't think he'll be available for the first couple of games at the very least. And so you probably have a spin attack of Amit Mishra and Ashwin.
Yeah. I would be surprised if Amit Mishra plays that many games. I think, yeah, obviously now while Akshar is out, but in general, I don't think he's going to be like he'll probably play maybe 5-6 games at most.
Key
I think
players for
definitely
me. Key players for me.
all eyes on Prithvi Shaw. I think that's going to be
Oh yeah.
definitely
Yes.
it's his probably his last shot at trying to get things back in order.
And he had a very bad IPL last year, obviously, and then that spilled over into the Test series. But he's coming off a great run of form in the Vijay Hazare Trophy, and he's like seems to have worked out a few technical things with his batting. So I think everyone's now excited to see if that's actually translating to facing the quality of bowling that he's going to face in the IPL.
Yeah, definitely. So it doesn't matter where these guys play their games because honestly, they have a squad good enough to go on anywhere. Uh, but do you think they're gonna go one better than last year? Maybe win the tournament? Tough one, isn't it?
I think on their day they're good enough to beat anyone. I mean, when you see what someone like Rishabh Pant has done to Bumrah in a previous matchup, you know that if things click, they can beat whoever they face in a final. I would say, yeah, I would say the top four for sure. Final, I like winning the tournament. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I think the only difference between them and anyone else is going to be the X factor. I don't think there's any really strong X factor out there who's going to Rishabh Pant here and there a few games. Rahane, Smith, Prithvi Shaw. I'm not too sure if they're going to go out there and create a lot of damage. So okay, they're going to chase some scores, but unless again, I think it all depends. And the only X factor they'll have probably is Marcus Stoinis, the guy who can actually create real damage.
You're forgetting three players: Shikhar Dhawan, Kagiso Rabada, and Ashwin.
Ashwin is definitely an X factor player in a different sense. He obviously is not going to hit 50 off 20 balls in any. Actually, one thing, if Ashwin ever hits a really quick fire 59 in T20 cricket,
Pujara will kill himself.
No, I was about to say, could this be the tournament where Ashwin actually shaves off half his face? Could it be? Could it be? Can someone just bowl a? Was it only for spinners or is it just if Pujara hits a six? Even if he can hook a six?
I think it was just if Pujara hits over the top.
Oh, acha, okay. So then if
Offie over cover.
offie over cover. It doesn't have to be an offie over cover. Can it be a fast bowler being hooked over fine leg or something?
That Pujara is not,
Yeah, that I'm sure he can. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fine. So top four.
I would say top four definitely for me as well.
Yeah.
Top four, difficult to go 1-2 as well. I think 3 somewhere.
3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go runners up again. I think they've got all bases covered pretty much. They're a good team. So yeah, that should do really well. Obviously they're missing Shreyas Iyer for the tournament, and that's a quite a big loss actually, because he gives you that sort of balance between being explosive but also being able to rein it in when the situation requires.
Yeah, and I really hope though. The one thing I'm waiting to see on that front is I hope Pant's batting doesn't change too much because he's captain now. I think Iyer also maybe batted a little slower than he could have because of the captaincy responsibility and all that. I hope Pant is just bats, the way he's supposed to. And people do on the off chance when he, gets out first ball playing a stupid shot or something, no one gives him shit. Oh, you're captain, you have to play differently. No, he has his game. This is how he plays. When it comes off, it's going to win matches. So let him play.
Just before we move on, I only have one line for Rishabh Pant. Have you ever heard of temporary captain? From one temporary captain to a discarded former captain, we are now moving on to KKR, Kolkata Knight Riders. Everybody's favorite ex-captain is in this, Dinesh Karthik. But they're now captained by Captain Morgan. So that's a big change. Obviously, much better captain, I feel, than Dinesh Karthik.
I think they should figure out a way for Dinesh Karthik to just spend his time on the team's YouTube channel or whatever in-house TV channel, so that he can provide excellent commentary and punditry throughout for all the games.
Okay, so that's one thing. They also made some very interesting signings over the close postseason. No, actually, they really did not. They only made one. His name is Harbhajan Singh. He hasn't played any cricket for the last year and a bit. So that'll be a fun one. I don't know why they picked him. I guess he's just supposed to be Dinesh Karthik's buddy in the commentary box. But so looking at KKR before I throw it open to you guys, their foreign players, Morgan, of course, as captain, the man on one knee, Andre Russell, the man with an action that is constantly under investigation in Sunil Narayan, Pat Cummins, Ben Cutting, Lockie Ferguson, Tim Seifert, and Shakib Al Hassan are their international players. And obviously all of the Indians that you get to choose from, including such stalwarts as Karun Nair, Kuldeep Yadav, Pawan Negi, and Prasidh Krishna, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think the interesting one there is going to be Kuldeep Yadav in the first 3 games because he's got they're playing in Chennai. They are playing in Chennai where CSK aren't. But spin friendly venue, whether that can be a good way to start the tournament for him and build his confidence back up, that'd be good. Yeah, I'm not. I think the big thing that came out has been the question for them in the last few seasons and will again be the question here is: A, can Andre Russell stay fit? B, can they send him into bat with more than 10 balls left so that he actually has a chance to do something in most innings?
I mean, he doesn't really need more than 10 balls. Isn't it all 10 of them for sixes? Game over.
That's also true. True. But ideally, you send him at like 3-4 so that he can actually send that innings into high gear earlier on.
I will say though, these guys are a dangerous side in fast conditions. Like if you're playing in Bangalore, Bombay, or in Calcutta itself, on those smaller grounds with quicker pitches, they're a very dangerous side because of their six-hitting ability.
Oh, that's for sure. And of course, they've got the finisher himself, Dinesh Karthik.
Yeah, Sorry, Niket was going to say something.
No, I think since the last we recollect KKR to be in at least performing note. There used to be a time where there was Gambhir, there was Uttapa who should take care of and anchor the innings, and then post came Nitish Rana. So I think Rana is something they're going to miss. I think Rana is if not, he's ruled out for a bit, if I'm not wrong.
He's also got COVID, so he will miss the first few games.
So I think they're top or at least the middle order. Of course, Ian commands the respect. And apart from Ian, I don't know if anyone can take responsibility right at the middle order. If in case the top crumbles, because a lot of pressure on Shubman. Okay, if they go back to Sunil opening with Shubman, then that leaves open Sid's favorite DK and Ian Morgan to take care. So I think the top order seems a little fairly unsettled. But apart from that, I feel they have a very, very decent pace attack. I think they're probably one of the best pace attacks, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Nagarkoti, Shivam Mavi, Pat Cummins. Yeah, it's a good pace attack, definitely. And of course, Prasidh Krishna. No, sorry.
You can't make the same joke twice in 5 minutes.
I'm now confused. I've forgotten his actual name. Is it Prasidh Krishna or Krishna?
I wouldn't be surprised if they play Shakib way more to take care of the middle.
I don't know actually. If you're playing Sunil Narayan, then Shakib doesn't really come into the picture that much.
And your two of your overseas spots are going to go to Russell and Morgan by default. So then it's a question of where you're getting the other two. If then Cummins you think is also an automatic pick.
Yeah, Cummins for me has to be an automatic pick.
In which case then you're left with one player, spot, and you've got Lockie Ferguson, Sunil Narayan, Shakib Al Hassan, lots of choices there.
But it's a team definitely that's built for fast pitches. So if you play on the flatter wickets, I think they'll do really well. I think when it comes to slower conditions in Chennai or something, they'll struggle.
Yeah, that was a bit of an out of syllabus for them.
Yeah, that is a bit of a not a little bit, very out of syllabus for them. Yeah, interesting one, KKR, because you don't know which way they're going to go. What do you guys reckon?
I think dark horses for the top 4.
Dark horses for the top 4, yeah. Probably, I would say, I think they'd make the playoffs. I don't think they'd go further than the eliminator or the qualifier. However they end up there.
I think a struggle at 6.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at if you don't want to play Dinesh Karthik, then Tim Seifert remains the only other person who's able to keep in this team.
Yeah. So basically, you're resigning yourself to the fact that Dinesh Karthik is going to have to play.
Yeah, basically. Anyway, on that very happy note, it is time to move on. Now we are going to the all-time greats of the IPL, the Mumbai Indians. the ones whose owners have an end named after them at the Sir Shri Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. I am, of course, talking about the Mumbai Indians. Um, Overseas players: Kyron Pollard, Quinton de Kock, Marco Jansen, Trent Bolt, Jimmy Neesham, Adam Milne, Chris Lynn, and Nathan Coulter-Nile, who for some reason they picked up for far less money when they could have done it last year. And of course, the golden boy, Arjun Tendulkar. These guys are like the MVPs of T20 cricket, aren't they?
Yeah, and going for three in a row, three IPL titles in a row, and I think strong favorites this season as well.
I mean, look at that list of players that they have, and the backup is unbelievable. Rohit Sharma, obviously. You expect Kyron Pollard, Quinton de Kock, and maybe Trent Bolt. All three will definitely play. That leaves one foreign player left. Who do you go with? Milne obviously gives you extra pace. Chris Lynn is Chris Lynn. Coulter-Nile is a bit of both. But the interesting one for me is Jimmy Neesham.
I actually think I would pick Jimmy Neesham in most of these games. Chris Lynn honestly was a surprise pick for me because opener was not a need for Mumbai. They've got Rohit Sharma. They've got then of course de Kock is there. Ishan Kishan can open.
Yeah.
I don't know why they went and picked up Chris Lynn.
They also, but then having said that, they also picked up Piyush Chawla. So God knows what these guys were smoking.
I think it's Chris Lynn has definitely been one of the most interesting picks I think from last year. We've been waiting to see if he gets a game because I think if given a shot, the guy is crazy. Right? He can tonk I think any bowling attack and create enough damage. But the only question is where does Rohit play? You know, if Lynn ever gets a chance, or where does de Kock play?
Fair enough. So obviously, both the Pandya brothers will play. Ishan Kishan will play. Jasprit Bumrah will play. Rahul Chahar will play. So will Surya Kumar Yadav. Where does that leave our favorite Jayant Yadav?
Yeah, Yadav we already know only plays against Chennai because he has a number. That's it.
Fair enough. No surprises. Do we think they're going to win this or not?
Strong favorites, I think, for sure.
I mean, the end is named after Reliance, yaar. That's where the final will be. They'll win the tournament. Come on. It's written in the stars कि Rohit Sharma lifting a trophy with Neeta Ambani. हो गया ना?
कहीं तो लिखा हुआ है. Written in the
कहीं तो
stars.
लिखा ही
पता
हुआ है.
नहीं लिखा हुआ है.
I think this is going to become a permanent thing now.
And Arjun playing in the finals, right? Yeah.
Wow.
Arjun Tendulkar scoring a century and taking a 5-4 in the finals. Chalo.
Scoring a set.
वो Shakib का dream है. Let that be with him. That's what he went on to say the other day.
I thought he wanted to play Test cricket. No, never mind. We'll stick to
I think strong favorites.
We'll stick to the IPL. All right, moving on. Next team after our number one is the newly rebranded. I don't know for fuck's sake why have they done this. The newly rebranded Punjab Kings. Interesting team.
Kings 11 Punjab as a name had grown on me, by the way. It seemed stupid back in 2008, but now over the next 12 years, it grew on me.
Listen, if a team can be named Mumbai Indians, Kings 11 Punjab really wasn't that bad. So, having said that, we'll move on to them being rebranded Punjab Kings. I don't think it's going to do anything to their prospects of winning a title. But international players, David Malan, Chris Jordan, Chris Gale, Nicholas Pooran, who is fire, Fabian Allen, Jai Richardson, Moises Henriques, and Riley Meredith. And of course, captained by KL Rahul. It's an interesting team, actually. The question is, how much will they play Chris Gale?
I think straight up, he's. Who are the other opening choices do they have apart from Chris Gale and Rahul?
I mean, you can have David Malan open the batting. You can have.
Any order?
Mayank Agarwal.
Mayank Agarwal can open the batting, yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up. And they also have people like Sarfaraz Khan, who's a pretty decent pick, actually. And one very interesting buy that they did make was Jalaj Saxena, who can bat pretty much anywhere.
That would be an interesting pick, actually, in the 11, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the other big players that they have. They have Mohammad Shami, Murugan Ashwin is decent, and the very beautifully named Shah Rukh Khan, who should really be playing for KKR. But
Yeah,
having
and
said
Mohammad
that,
Shami you
having
expect
said
is
one
going
sec,
to
one sec, one
be
sec, one
the
sec.
lead piece. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I just wanted to crack one joke on Shah Rukh Khan. This is Shah Rukh Khan from Kerala, who's probably a Mammootty fan and not a fan of Shah Rukh Khan.
And he's going to be allowed into the wankhede, most importantly.
Yes, we did forget about that. Yes, he is going to be allowed into the Wankhede Stadium. Okay, coming back to the cricket. Malan might play. I think their four would be Puran, Jai Richardson, Fabian Allen, and David Malan. I don't know how much Gale will play.
I think they'll swap out Gale and Malan every so often.
Yeah.
It's an interesting. I think Malan's. I know he has a number one T20I ranking amongst batsmen. I think even then his reputation has not really been solidified, and I think this tournament will go a long way to doing that, one way or the other. Because I think even in the series against India, we thought that his one good innings he was still batting too slow. If he does that in the IPL, it's going to be found out very quickly. So these are things that he's going to have to work on.
Yeah, it still looks a bit weak in terms of pace bowling because other than Shami and Jai Richardson, they really don't have anybody else who's quick.
Yeah. Chris Jordan,
yeah, but it's Chris Jordan. I mean, he's a better fielder than a bowler. So, yeah, I think these guys are going to struggle. The batting, the bowling is a little weak. Obviously, the only interesting prospects that we're really looking at are number one, obviously Ravi Bishnoi, who I thought was fabulous last season.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a team that, despite the rebrand, we think is going to make any real waves. And even Ayush thought that they were probably not going to reach the playoffs. What do you guys reckon?
Yeah, they seem to always threaten to make it and then miss out. So I think there are 4 teams better than them, honestly.
4 teams are better than them. 4 teams better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
between Delhi, Mumbai, KKR would probably top them, I think. One of RCB and CSK and Rajasthan will pull off something surprising. So yeah, I think I can't see them hitting the top.
They're just lacking. For me, they just lack in too many areas. There's a gap.
The top order the batting seems pretty sorted, but then again, Punjab has probably always struggled with leadership worries. I really don't think they've ever had anyone who's come and take the reins and said, okay, listen, last season Rahul performed, but the whole team did not. So that way, I think there a lot of pressure now on Rahul to see if he can actually, because if he performs, I really feel that the next Indian captain is probably knocking on someone's door. But then if from here, if he goes downhill, then we're probably looking somewhere else. So I think a lot of pressure on Rahul for that.
The other thing is that they don't, other than Bishnoi, I don't think they really have a good spinner.
Ashwin, that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. And I mean, even M. Ashwin is, I mean, he's all right. Yeah. There's nothing special about him.
Few games, that's about it.
Few games, yeah. So they will struggle, and I don't see them getting to the playoffs. I think they'll probably...
Number 7.
No, I don't think so. I think league position with Punjab is always number 5, 5th.
Just keep knocking.
5 Rivers, Punjab. No, I'm not going to crack that joke. All right. Quickly moving on from number 5, Kings 11 Punjab, to our 6th team in this, the Rajasthan Royals. International players: Ben Stokes, Joss Butler, Jofra Archer, who's missing the first few games, Liam Livingston, Chris Morris, David Miller, Mr. Mustafizur, I'm just going to call him the Fizz, and Andrew Tye, the man with 8 slower balls. And of course, captained by the immortal Sanju Samson. Sorry, that sounds really bad to say.
Sanju Samson should Rishabh Pant at the Ahmedabad finals. Whoa.
Wow! Oh my God, that would be absolutely epic. Epically bad. They also have such stalwarts as Jaydev Unadkat, the next Kuldeep Yadav. I don't know why there's a second Kuldeep Yadav, and Shivam Dubey.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go in order. Who are their for foreign players. Now we know Archer's going to miss the first few games. So you're looking at Stokes, Butler, Chris Morris has to play. And then do you go one of Miller, the Fizz, Ty, or do you go straight up Liam Livingston?
I would go Liam Livingston.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would actually go Devin Miller on this.
I feel like Miller's one of those players now who I think he's more reputation. I know he just had a good innings against Pakistan, but I feel like more often than not, it's more a case of reputation than actual performance with him. I think Liam Livingston also offers you an option as a bowler, not a particularly lethal one, but a decent backup bowler. Plus, we've seen him he's been a good T20 batsman recently.
Listen, first of all, Liam Livingston is basically Joe Denley version 2.0. He does the same two things. Okay. Second of all, no one can take Sanju Samson seriously as captain. I'm sorry. It's not happening. I can't do it. I cannot do it.
I can't imagine him yelling out to Jofra Archer.
Yeah, come on, give me one more, buddy. And Archer just looks at it, chutiya kaun hai? No, I can't take it seriously, man. I'm sorry.
I think an interesting prospect in Rajasthan is that if this season they can give a shot is Yashasvi Jaiswal. That's going to be interesting if they give him a shot.
Yeah.
What about everybody's favorite second all-rounder, Shivam Dube?
Listen, I don't know about you. My favorite second all-rounder is Vijay Shankar.
He was first all-rounder, boss. His name is Mr. 3D. We will come to him in a minute. Okay. Andrew Ty, I don't think is going to play much. Neither is the Fizz. Morris will play a lot, and I think the rest of their team is going to revolve around the foreign players. Samson's okay. Rahul Tewatia will play, and Jaydev Unadkat will definitely play. But then he is bloody Jaydev Unadkat. So yeah.
It's going to be a tough one for them, I feel. Again, they're going to take a year more, get into the whole group, but by the time the whole team is gone. So I think this year is going to be a tough one for Rajasthan, at least for me. I think number 8 for them.
Also, they're not playing any games at Sharjah on those ridiculously small boundaries where Tewatia can just hit sixes for no reason. So I'm looking at this team and I don't see anything great. Maybe Butler and Stokes in the odd game. Morris, who's an absolute IPL legend. No one rates him, but IPL mein he comes out, and Liam Livingston has one game. So I'm going to say they finish above CSK, but don't qualify for the playoffs.
So repeat of last year.
Basically a repeat of last year.
Actually, last year they finished 6th. They finished last tied with CSK, and lost out on run rate, I think.
Did it make any difference?
No.
Did Rahul Tewatia doing all of that make any difference? He got into the squad. He didn't play a single T20 game. So, bas ho gaya.
He didn't play because of not passing our new and improved yo-yo test, no?
It was our new and improved yo-yo.
We have higher fitness standards, no? That's what I'm saying.
Acha, okay. I mean, yeah.
Which Pant is clearing, yeah?
This is true. Pant is clearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Ravi Shastri would clear it, man.
I'm not gonna say anything.
We've had way too much fun on that episode with Rob. Please watch it, guys. There are some absolute beauties in there. Okay. Anybody that you want to throw a roasted chicken at? Yes, Jaydev Unadkat.
Rahul Tewatia, for sure. if he's any more noisy this season, I think he's out.
Alrighty. That's the Rajasthan Royals for you. Now on to everybody's favorite losers. Of course, we're talking about RCB, the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Overseas players, AB de Villiers, Glenn Maxwell, Adam Zampa. For some bizarre fucking reason, Dan Christian, Daniel Sams, which I can understand, Kane Richardson, Kyle Jamieson, and Finn Allen. So basically, Virat Kohli decided that I'm not winning with anybody. So I'm just going to pick up half of Australia, including Dan Christian, and hum log dekh lenge.
Dan Christian says he has unfinished business with the IPL. That's after being a T20 franchise legend in Big Bash and the T20 Blast and CPL and wherever else he's played.
One minute. It's Dan Christian. B, what unfinished business? He's not going to get business. This guy's going to park his ass on the bench the whole season.
He brings that winning mentality of the 9 trophies he's won in franchise cricket, or however many it is.
Which 9 trophies has he won?
All these franchise tournaments, man.
Acha, so basically he's riding on the coattails of what everybody else in his team has done for him.
No, to be fair, he's actually been a pretty key player for the side in the Big Bash. I have not followed his career so much outside of Australia, but apart from when he was shit in the IPL.
So interesting ones here are Finn Allen, who's been absolutely killing it. AB de Villiers, obviously, and Glenn Maxwell. Which Glenn Maxwell turns up? That's the other question. Obviously, Virat Kohli and Devdutt Padikkal are the two real sort of batting hopes for them out of all the Indian players.
There's no one else.
Yeah.
There's literally actually nobody else. There's Mohammad Azharuddin. Yeah. And other than that, the bowling is test match quality. Siraj, Navdeep Saini, Washington Sundar, only Yuzi Chahal.
Yeah, and Kyle Jamieson, I think, would be a good pick.
Yeah, Kyle Jamieson would be a good pick. I think you'd pick him over both Shams and Kane Richardson.
Yeah, they're going to struggle with death bowling, though, as always. I don't think... I mean, we've seen Jamieson, we've seen Finn Allen as well recently, just not bowl that well at the death. We already know that's been an issue with the Indian fast bowlers that they have in Saini and Siraj both. So, yeah. It's always going to come down to that with them.
Yeah. Virat Kohli is obviously threatened to open the batting. So, with that...
No, I think he's declared.
He said he will. But having said all of that, with that in mind, is he just taking the piss as he usually does with the toss? No, my question is he going to allow Washington Sundar to open the batting or no?
That's an interesting. That'd be an interesting left field choice, I think, in a few games or so. But I think, yeah, I think Kohli opening actually makes sense, honestly, because then you can pack the rest of the 11 with hitters to come in after him.
Fair enough. So for 4 international players are AB, Glenn Maxwell, Zampa, and Jameson, I would say.
Yeah, probably Jameson over people like Richardson or Sams or Christian or Finn Allen to start off with. But then you never know if things start going south quickly. Then
it's RCB. It will go south. Niket, what do you reckon?
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely feel that the batting is a bit of a struggle. I think I think Padikkal is not there for a few games, right? Like a couple of games now again. So without Padikkal now.
Tested negative in his second test, so he may still be. He had to quarantine at home, but he's tested negative. So I don't know what that means for his availability. Maybe he's ready from the start then.
Sid has really pointed out a big gap in their batting. Indian batting, I really feel after Kohli and Padikkal, the only person left is I think Sundar. Don't see anyone else with at least in the 11 who can carry their bat through the innings. So that's going to be a big gap.
I mean, Mohammad Azharuddin had a good Saeed Mushtaq Ali for Kerala.
At this stage with this much pressure, I really feel that it's going to be a bit difficult for a newbie to come in and especially when you have the big guns around. You have the De Villiers, you have the Maxwells. I think it all comes down to the foreign players for them. I think they have missed a few tricks in the trade over here again, like every year. So I think Bangalore again failed to qualify this year as well for me.
I think they'll actually make the playoffs this year, but I don't think they're going to win a game in it.
Yeah, they made the playoffs last year as well. Even though
they did make the playoffs. I think they're a decent enough side for that. The bowling obviously is test match quality, so you never know. It could come off as well if you get a wicket that's doing a little bit. They could become absolutely lethal.
I think they're ripe to get trolled though, because they after the auction released all these behind the auction strategy videos of how they got some players they wanted, got other players got other teams to bid on players that they didn't want and whatnot, and all of this has just left them ripe for trolling. In fact, I'm very certain that Steve Smith is now going to hit 100 against them after that big Mike Hesson video of how they tricked Delhi into overpaying for Steve Smith and whatnot. So
you do realize that on the front of the jersey, the sponsor is basically spelt incorrectly, right? It's Rogan or whatever. Unscramble and you get CSK. Sorry, RCB. Oh my God. See, unscramble and you get RCB. Wrong. Probably fourth out of 8 for me. They do make the playoffs, but they don't go much further.
Yeah, I can see them making the top 4. Actually.
Yeah. Right. Onwards and upwards. Before we go on, Niket, what do you reckon about RCB?
Difficult to make the playoffs for me. I feel this time that once again, the fast bowling unit is good, but they're struggling with their batting. The same 5-6 top order. They might struggle. They might knock at the doors, but see it difficult.
Okay. Alrighty. And last and not the least, Sunrisers Hyderabad. Foreign players, Johnny Bairstow, and they've picked up Jason Roy because Mitchell Marsh decided to be a little bit too scared at the last minute, so they decided कि chalo, we'll pick up Jason Roy as well. They have David Warner, Kane Williamson, Rashid Khan, Mohammad Nabi, Mujibur Rahman. That's a good pick actually, and Jason Holder. So that's a very good sort of set of foreign players. It covers pretty much all bases. And the Indian players to watch out for, I thought obviously Bhuvi. You have Mr. Glass Hamstring himself, Mr. Kedar Jadhav. But then you also have Mr. 3D as well in Vijay Shankar. Yeah, so that's basically Sunrisers. Strong with the bowling.
We had nothing to say. Hilariously, we had nothing to say about anyone there.
Yeah, no one has anything to say about these players for some reason. But
to me, I think these guys are definitely out there contending for the top 4. So I think they have a really, really strong unit.
Interesting.
But it all comes down to who are the top 4. So Warner definitely plays. Williamson is going to be there. It's going to be a tough call between Bairstow. Rashid Khan has to play. So 3 is definitely in there. Who's going to be the 4th?
I think Jason Holder has to play for me.
Yeah, you need the.
Just his all-round ability is unreal. He just has to play. There's no way. I think out of all of them, Warner will play, Williamson will play, Rashid Khan will play, and Jason Holder should play. Well, Williamson might miss out because of Bairstow.
I was gonna say, where do you play Bairstow and Roy then?
Then that's my point.
One of them you think has to play.
So possibly then Williamson is the one that misses out for me, because I think you can't drop Jason Holder. Rashid Khan has to play, and Warner's the captain.
Yeah, I don't think Williamson is an automatic pick in this 11.
That's an interesting one. They also are missing a good Indian middle order batsman.
Yeah.
Excuse me, hello, Manish Pandey. What are you talking about?
I said good Indian middle order batsman. I didn't say Indian middle order batsman. They have Kedar Jadhav.
Yeah, Manish Pandey, Kedar Jadhav, Vijay Shankar. I don't know what you're saying. Riddhiman Saha, dude.
Oh my God. He's just.
He's supposed to be opening the innings, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Riddhiman Saha is supposed to open the innings, which means neither Bairstow, Roy, nor Williamson will be playing. That would be the world's funniest, literally the funniest thing that happens in the IPL for a long time. Anyway, they're always a strong bowling side with Natarajan, Bhuvi, Jason Holder if he plays, Rashid Khan obviously when he plays. So they're a good bowling unit. Strong
Who's the other spinner apart from Rashid?
They do have a couple. They have Abhishek Sharma, who was decent last year. And they have everybody's favorite spinner, Shahbaz Nadeem.
I was going to say. Then the thing is, they also have They have Mujib and Mohammad Nabi, both the other two really well-known Afghanistan players, as backup spinners. Whether we'll ever get an all-Afghanistan lineup or all three play, I highly doubt it, but that'd be fun to see.
That'd be a good day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, basically your 4 overseas players would be Warner, Nabi, Mujib, and Rashid Khan.
That's not a bad bet, actually. I would think that's a pretty decent. That's proper.
And then you're relying on all the really good Indian batsmen.
No, and then you have Siddharth Kaul to come in and bowl.
Siddharth Kaul, Basil Thampi.
No,
Wasn't Siddharth Kaul just referred to the new age Dinda?
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. No, I thought the new age Jinda was Unadkat.
But Siddharth Kaul does the whole headband thing like Dinda. Like,
Fair. So Siddharth Kaul is the new age Ashok Dinda, and for me, these guys are making the playoffs. They're probably finishing third and making the playoffs pretty easily. I think they're a good enough team.
so repeat from last year, basically. Then.
Yeah, repeat from last year. I don't think much has changed.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can see them easily competing for the top 4. I think I have Mumbai, Delhi, like my definite picks. I think then the last 2 picks I think will come down to these guys, RCB, KKR, and one of those other 3 teams are going to surprise us. I'm just
I'm thinking. I think these guys will end up third. I think the 4th playoff spot is between KKR and RCB.
yeah, I just have this feeling of the one team, either Chennai or Rajasthan or Punjab, one of these guys is going to have a really good season and surprises coming out of nowhere. I can't tell you which one. My money is on. If I had to pick one, I would pick Rajasthan of those 2. But yeah.
Also, dude, I can't deal with CSK having a good season. They're just so boring, man. It's such a boring team. They really are. Like, it's players like
We need Dhoni versus Pant in the final, though, don't we?
Who? What?
We need a Dhoni versus Pant final.
Nobody wants to see that shit. You just want to see Pant destroy Dhoni in the league. End of story. And shut everyone up for good. That's all we need to see.
I think for me the 4th place. I think so. 3 seems more or less at the same place. I think it all comes down to the 4th place. So 4th place, either CSK or an RCB for me. I feel that's going to come down to that. If again, boring season, yes, it'll definitely turn out to be, if they go decide on a rampage. I think Watson loss was a very, very big thing for CSK, and since then they've just not been able to cope with that.
What? Watson's losing the single.
Watson's loss.
What?
No, Watson's after losing Watson out.
One sec. Let me clarify this. You mean losing Watson or Watson losing the one review every game? Because literally till 2015 it was Shane Watson. After that it was Watson losing a review. Also, are you just saying this because you're a CSK fan, or is there some like?
Not at all. This is always been CSK has given us more boring seasons than anyone else. So for me, that definitely comes down to CSK not being out there. But no, I think this time a shot at redemption. If Dhoni doesn't go on to do something right now, he's done and dusted. He's already done and dusted.
Let me just clarify what's going to happen. Then he won't.
I wonder if this is going to be his last season.
Probably should be. As well as Harbhajan Singh, Piyush Chawla, Suresh Raina, I could go on. But Robin Uthappa as well. But
Robin
anyway.
Uthappa is going to fire CSK to the trophy.
Anyway. So we know 3, we don't know 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Doesn't matter after that. Between KKR and CSK and RCB, we are not decided who's going to finish 4th. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th is all decided. We know Punjab is finishing 5th. Baki ka pata nahi. But I can almost guarantee you that in 6 weeks' time, you will see Rohit Sharma lifting this trophy again.
That too, we have in this case probably better inside info than when it came to the India pitches.
So the basic question is, what are the pitches going to be like at the Shri Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad?
One thing's for sure, it's going to definitely support Akshar Patel. So.
Okay.
Can we please? I really want one rank turner, like that 3rd test style pitch. I want, or 4th test style pitch. I want one pitch in the IPL to be like that.
Chasing 110 team doesn't qualify.
This shit can only happen to Punjab. It'll probably be that, Delhi versus Punjab. Punjab need to win to qualify. Rishabh Pant makes 35 or 40 balls and they only get 110. Next thing you know, KL Rahul and all are out. They're like 40 odd for 5, chasing 110, and they can't make it because Akshar Patel has spun them out or something ridiculous like that. It sounds like a typical Punjab scenario.
I think we need to cut this clip of you of that prediction and say it, and I think that it could very well happen towards the end of the season.
Just remember,
Just really-
Sistradamus strikes again. Oh, also, we missed one thing very important. Well, actually, it wasn't important, but we missed it in the roundup. We were supposed to discuss the West Indies and Sri Lanka series, but of course, nothing happened.
There was nothing to discuss. It
Yeah,
finished
exactly.
0-0.
Literally nothing happened. So anyway, on that very happy note, can I get IPL winners from you guys? I am going Mumbai Indians because just always happens.
Mumbai.
Mumbai has to be, but if I have to give someone else a shot at it, I would probably give the Sunrisers.
Interesting. I would have gone Delhi if I had to give it to somebody else, but yes, Sunrisers would be an interesting one. Alrighty. On that very happy note, it is time to move on again. And this time we are moving on to the awards segment.
First
We do
award
have-
goes for that stupid accent that SP just pulled off. Or tried pulling off.
Well, I'm living in England. Do you think it'd rub off at some point, right?
After 14 episodes, I'm sure.
After 14
Give it maybe
episodes, yeah.
another- Give it 14 years, maybe it might happen.
Okay, very good. Well played. Well said, sir. Now, can we actually get to the business of giving out a proper award? There's only one this week because, there's not much cricket on, and we had to give one to Rob last week. So,
We're giving it to Quinton.
we're giving it to Quinton de Kock.
That's it.
That is just grade A shithousery, man. And only a Pakistani has to fall for it. It's like you're literally talking about it, and Rob said that that Inzamam run out video was there in his episode. So now Fakhar Zaman decides that मैं भी करूँगा, चलो.
What would have been funny is if this happened post IPL, then the blame would have come to IPL, to the Indians. ये वहाँ सीख क्या है?
Oh my god. Anyway, Quinton de Kock, congratulations. You win the No Balls Cricket Award for just pure shithousery this week. And yes, that is pretty much.
Honorary mention to Niket for reappearing. For coming out of hiding after his bad pitch consultancy.
Yeah, it took him so long to recover from those horrible predictions that he made. Yes.
Not falling for those again.
On that extremely joyous note, it is time to end. Thank you guys all for watching. This has been No Balls Cricket episode 13. We are so honored to have Mr. Niket Lulla back with us. Niket, who's your favorite cricketer?
DK has to be all the way.
Oh, really?
I had to bring him back. Can't leave on that note.
No, he's my favorite cricketer. Who's yours?
There's one person who I really can't stand off late is definitely Tewatia. So I'm going to hang into that.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so Rahul Tewatia's biggest fan. On that happy note, it is time to end. Thank you guys all for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and
Hit the Ghanta button. Say
thank
cheese at some
God
point.
someone did not say cheese for once. Press the bell icon just like this little thing is doing. And if you're listening to us, you can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor.fm, and Podcast Addict. And I am out of breath. That means it's time to end. Goodbye, good night, and we shall see you soon.
Bye, guys.